thanks for the introduction. So the first author is supposed to be here to present. He arrived at the airport yesterday, but due to some emergency, he cannot make it today. So it's kind of rushed for me to, to prepare this presentation. So please bear with me if I cannot provide more technical details. So of course you can send all the questions, to the Slack. So I'll let the first author know and to respond your questions as soon as possible. All right. So this is a joint work with the Ninghui Li, myself from Purdue, Neil from Duke, and Hui Li from Xidian University. All right. So I want to provide a little bit background of the data, right? So we know that more and more companies, they are collecting user data for their applications, right? All the applicants right now is data hungry, all right? And one of the most popular data types is the numerical data, right? So mean and variance are two fundamental statistics which are widely used in many scenarios, all right? For example, companies, in the market survey and in the insurance company and real estate, so they want the mean and variance of some of the attributes of their customers to adjust their business strategies, all right? So usually in this case, we consider, or in other words, the customer really, they don't trust the server, right? The data collector, right? So the server wants to analyze users' data, but the clients, they're reluctant to hand over their data to the server, right? They don't want to sacrifice their privacy. We already seen a lot of attacks, a lot of the privacy breach recently. Actually, that happens very often, right? So which urges the service providers to seriously consider privacy protection for their customers. So one of the approaches to defend against privacy leakage is the local differential privacy, right? So LDP deploys a randomizer on the local user site to perturb the private user data before reporting it to the server. So the server never sees the original raw data, right? So it can only get the useful data at the aggregate level, but never see the individual's private data. All right, so formally we have this randomized algorithm. We say it's epsilon LDP if and only if for any two inputs x1 and x2, the probability of outputting the same result t is upper bounded by e to the power of epsilon, right? So the epsilon is the privacy budget. So we can tweak it, and usually smaller epsilon means that we can provide better privacy protection by injecting more noise, right? So there's the trade-off between the privacy and the utility usually. But disappointing attack actually encourages us to think the third factor here, that's the security. So before that, I want to introduce two target the algorithms used for the mean and variance estimation. So originally these two algorithms are used for a mean evaluation, so the stochastic rounding, and also the piecewise mechanism. So both converts the original user value into the range of the -1 to 1. And then, they perturb the data by their perturbation function, and finally the server uses the aggregation function to estimate the mean of the user's value. In order to estimate variance, actually we need a few more steps here. So first, the users need to be divided into two groups, and the user in the first group need to send their private value x and users in the second group report the x squared. All right, so after the data collection, the server can estimate the expected value of x using the reports from group 1 and estimates the expected value of x squared using the reports from group 2. So, and then the user can, to estimate the mean and variance at the same time, right? So for data pointing attack on LDP, I think with all the trainings we've received so far, I don't think this is going to be a problem for the audience to understand, right? What is the data poisoning attack, right? The attacker actually, in this case, we consider a compromise the user side, right? The user actually can be controlled, can be compromised by the attacker, or there exists a malicious user, right? They can send crafted fake values, false values to the LDP collection, and then in order to manipulate the result, right? So in the literature, there are some existing works investigating the disappointing attacks. So for example, the SB21, they aim to degrade the estimation accuracy, right? They want to degrade the overall utility. Concurrently, they're working on the frequency estimation, the key values. So they aim to promote the targeted items by maximizing their associated statistics. All right. So in this case, that they may, the attacker can inject the false data and fool the server into believing that X is more popular than Facebook, right? But it's just an example. We actually don't have any evidence to support either side. So what's the difference here? What makes our attack different? So we propose a fine-grained attack. So the goal here is not only manipulate the result in a coarse-grained manner. We want to fine-tune the result, fine-tune the estimate, and let the attacker control the result to an intended value. All right. So that's a more precise control, right? So what's the threat model here? Formally, so our goal is to simultaneously modify the estimated mean and variance to the attacker's target values. So we assume that the attacker can do the following things before the attack. So the attacker can estimate some auxiliary information about the users. For example, the attacker can estimate the number of users during data collection. All right, so this is viable. So because of various reasons, such as transparency, compliance, regulation requirements, some business and government agencies, they're required to disclose this information to the public. All right, and also the attacker can also estimate the sum of user values and sum of the squared user values. All right, so this can be done by just compromising a small number of users and get the data. All right, and also we assume the attacker can inject a small number of fake users. So this has been proven in the prior work. So attacker can do that with minimal cost. Right, the fake count, creating a fake account or buy some fake accounts from the dark markets is relatively inexpensive. So since the randomizer of LDP is controlled by the attacker on the local side, so assume that the attacker can manipulate the input and output of the LDP perturbation. All right. So with all these assumptions, I'll give you an example, intuitive example here. So say a company wants to do a market survey to know the mean and variance of the users, a target group. So they want to know their income, mean and variance of their income. While the users may not be, willing to share the information because of the security, privacy concern, right? So with LDP, if everything goes well, the individual user privacy can be protected, and the data collector can get all the desired information, right? But if there exists an attacker, say under this, our attacker, the attacker can manipulate the result. He can set the target mean at the to some different number, and then in the end he can control the result. Say originally the target group, the genuine, the mean and variance that actually tells us that this group of users in that middle class income group, and then after this manipulation, attacker can precisely control these numbers, so he can fool the server believing that their target group is in some lower middle income group. So this may affect the strategy, business strategy adopted by the server, by the service provider, and may eventually hurt their business, right? So in order to do that, we propose two types of data poisoning attack. The first attack is the input poisoning attack. So it serves as a baseline. This is very straightforward. So the attacker just sends the attacker just sends the false data to the input domain of the LDP. All right. So that's straightforward. It doesn't need to touch the the perturbation function of LDP. All right. The second one is the output poisoning attack. We call it OPA. So it allows the attacker to manipulate the perturbation output domain. All right. So we allow attacker to leverage the characteristics of LDP to affect the estimation result. Right. So I actually skip a lot of details here about how to create those fake values. So please read our papers for all these details. All right. So due to the inherent noise in the LDP protocols, the manipulated results cannot be set to the target values exactly. So therefore, we want to know how close the attacker can actually control the final estimates to the intended values by measuring the mean squared error between the result and the target. All right, so the results are shown in this table. With that, so the first question, another question we want to know is that how our attacks perform under different LDP protocols. We have the SR, we have the PM. So the answer is that the attack error when the epsilon is set to small, it's easier for the attacker to manipulate the estimate in the SR algorithm. Okay. So on the other hand, when the epsilon is large, the PM may be preferred by the attacker, right? So it means that the attack is more effective against in the PM algorithm. All right. So another question is, does our OPA attack outperform the baseline? Right. Baseline is the direct control of the input. So which one actually is more effective? The answer is that the OPA is more effective than IPA. It enables the attacker to set the result closer to the targeted values under the same LDP setting. All right. So other than those questions, we are also interested in the relationship between privacy and security. Okay. Recall that I said, so that parameter, the epsilon, actually can, you can tweak to achieve the trade-off between the privacy and the utility. But here, because we have this attack, so it gives us another chance to look at the actual impact of this parameter. All right. That's the privacy and the security. Prior work, they shows that the fundamental security privacy trade-off actually existed. So higher privacy give us lower security, all right? But in our work, we observed the privacy security consistency. So higher privacy also give you higher security, all right? So we did experiment on the real-world dataset, which confirmed our findings. So you may find more details, more results in our paper. So at this point, you may want to know which one actually is true, right? They're seemingly contradictory. So which one is true? So the short answer is that both are correct. Okay. And the relationship really depends on how you perform the attack and the attack goal, right? So we provide intuition here. So in prior attacks, they aim to degrade the overall utility or maximizing their associated statistics. Really, they don't care about the some specific target value, right? So in that case, the large noise actually help, right? So, but in our setting, we want to fine-tune the result. So smaller noise actually help us. That's going to be beneficial to the attacker, all right? So, so I think the more detailed reason may be more complicated than this, but I just want to give you some intuition. And also that's something that worth investigating in the future. All right. We also explored the defense. So we proposed the clustering-based mitigation. Yeah, the intuition is that we believe that majority are benign. So yeah, I'll speed up. Sorry. So for the in order to measure that, we proposed the metric. So I leave all the details to the paper. Yeah, so we also did the experiment to verify that. We have some observations. On the other hand, the data pointing attack posed real threats to LDP protocols, and existing mitigation still face limitations. So it urges us to rethink the security and privacy. When you implement the LDP in practice, you really need to have a better understanding of the robustness of different LDP protocols. That's something we're working on. And we actually find that different protocols show different resilience to the attack. Right. On the other hand, definitely we need to explore more methods to detect the attack, and also to look at how to tolerate the attack, the pollution, if it is inevitable in practice. Right. So to conclude that, we propose fine-grained poisoning attack, and also analysis reveals a disturbing fact that both privacy security trade-off and consistency are correct. So it is difficult to secure LDP by just the fine-tuning parameter epsilon, right? We also propose mitigation, and which highlights the urgent need for the analysis of LDP robustness, secure LDP design, as well as exploration of more effective defenses against the poisoning attacks. All right, so thank you. I'm happy to take your questions.